What's up, everyone? Welcome to Pavel Play with CJ. Today we're going to focus in on Pavel Bure and why the Russian Rocket belongs in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Bure is one of my all-time favorite players to have not worn a Bruins uniform. I'd say him, Jeremy Roenick, and Theo Fleury are the three best, in my opinion, to wear a Bruins uniform. In terms of my favorites. In fact, one of my favorite jerseys is this one. I thought I'd break it out. Spent enough money on it. Pavel Bure Panthers jersey from his time in South Florida. He just got it a couple years ago, but little background on the Russian Rocket. Obviously, a Vancouver Canucks standout. Went to finals with the Nucks in '94. And Mike Keenan, coach of the Rangers at the time, said Bure was the most electrifying player in the league. And that pretty much summed up Mr. Bure. Everything was speed. Just get the puck to the outside, take it to the net. And the breakaways were amazing because the separation. He was the fastest skater in the league because of his first step. His first step in the league was better than any other players possibly to ever play the game. His, straight ahead, he was amazing. The knee surgeries later on in his career derailed him, and injuries cut his prolific career short. He really could have been. He retired with 437 goals in 702 games, fifth all-time in goals per game, which is amazing. And was forced to retire at 32, which is too bad. He really could have. A couple knee surgeries sidelined him, and he sat out most of the year with Vancouver over contract dispute before he got traded to Florida. But during his time in the NHL, he was probably the best forward without a question. During he had two 60-goal years for the Canucks, and had a 58-goal season with the Panthers in 74 games in 99-2000, which also, ironically, was the last time they made the playoffs, was 2000. They got swept it by the Devils, but Pavel had 4 points in 4 games, so it wasn't his fault. And the next year, 59 goals in 82 games, so he had two 60-goal years and two years where he was right there. Like I said, fifth all-time in goals per game, and he was a standout player for the Canucks that really electrified fans and put a lot of fans in the seats. He's worth the price of admission. He won the Calder Trophy in '92, and played 4 years in Vancouver. Actually, 7 years in Vancouver. Excuse me, I misread that. The lockout year in between kind of spewed everything. And then went to South Florida, took his talents to South Beach, and while he was with the Panthers, in fact, actually played with his brother Valerie, who was a very, very good hockey player in his own right. And he's one of those guys that got overlooked because his brother was Pavel Bure and one of the greatest players of all time. He was a very good hockey player, perennial all-star in his own right. But I think being young, he was always referred to as Pavel's younger brother, but he was a great player in his own right, and as you mentioned, as such. But back to Pavel, got traded to the Rangers, went to Broadway, and had 12 goals in 12 games in '02 as part of a Blue Shirts late season push that fell short of the playoffs, as they did for every year between '97 and '06. And then the next year was the last year in the league. He played in 39 games and had 19 goals for the Rangers, and that was the last time the NHL saw him. And it's a shame. He really and truly was the most electrifying player in the league. He was the fastest Russian since the Sputnik. Was really appropriate. Was a real appropriate nickname for him because he was that good. He the speed. Like I said, the word speed and Pavel Bure are synonymous. He's got, he had the best wheels I've ever seen. When he had the puck in space, look out. You could turn even the best defenseman. Make him look like standstill cones. But I think had he played in the post-lockout NHL with no clutch and grab, because you think about the '90s, how much clutch and grab was going on. That you take a speed and finesse player like him, and you take away the best part of his game, and the hooking that got away with watching his highlight reel with the Panthers. How many goals was he getting hooked on? How many more goals could he have scored if defensemen weren't allowed to hold on to you when you're coming in alone? And the other thing I think it would have really helped him in the post-lockout NHL is two-line pass. He'd hang out at the red line, just boop, catch it, and he's off to the races. Once he got that first step on you, you're not catching him. He's that fast. He was that. I'm saying, the past tense, obviously. But he definitely warrants consideration. He should be in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the best players on all stages. He won 3 gold to the World Juniors. Let me just verify that. But he's just. I think I don't know what's keeping him out. I know his defensive abilities weren't. Or I won 2 silvers and a gold at the World Juniors. Excuse me. His defensive abilities left a lot to be desired, but so did so many other players during that era. He's 13th all time in shorthanded goals. He like I said, was adept to the penalty kill because of his speed at the point. If he blocked a shot, got the puck, and the puck was up for grabs, you're going to win the race for it, come in alone and score. I think the Twinkle Toes goal he had against the Bruins in the preseason game, he stole the puck from Ray Bourque, came in alone, put it between his feet, and scored. It's just, how do you do that, his separation was just on another level. And I think because of that, and because of his numbers in such a short period of time, he should be in the Hall of Fame. If the Hall of Fame can give Cam Neely the benefit of the doubt, and Cam Neely is my all-time favorite player, why can't they give Pavel Bure the benefit of the doubt? His numbers are better than Cam's. I understand Cam played an entirely different game, but the numbers are there. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the greatest players to ever play the game. And I tell you one thing, he sold out a lot of seats in Vancouver. He was worth the price of admission, like in Vancouver, in Miami, and in with the Rangers later on at the end. And he established the Panthers as a legitimate contender. For 3 years he was down there. He was there. He sat out most of the 98-99 season, wanting to get traded. Got traded. Played 11 games for the Panthers. The next year, played the full year, went to the playoffs, and then the next year played the full year, missed the playoffs, and got traded in 01-02 as a part of Panthers fire sale. That landed the number 1 pick, actually. They traded getting Jay Bomeister. But, he's probably the reason. The Panthers gave up a lot to get him. They gave up Jovanovski, who's obviously back in South Florida now. But he really belongs in the Hall of Fame. I see no reason why Bure shouldn't be enshrined with hockey immortality. He played with McGillney, he played with Fedorov. McGillney should get in, Fedorov will get in. Bure may have been skill-wise the best of all three. I think Fedorov, because he played for Detroit, had to play such a defensive game as part of that system. But, skill-wise, you weren't beating that. He had a rocket for a shot, and no pun intended, the Russian rocket, and his speed. I can't talk enough about how fast he was. You can't teach speed, and he's just another example of that. Anywho, I wonder what everyone else has to think about Mr. Bure and his induction into the Hall of Fame. Should it happen? Should it not happen? Let me know what you think. That's it for the Power Play with CJ, Pavel Bure Hall of Fame edition. Stay tuned for more episodes. Later, guys.